Hello friends, I hope that you're all doing fine. Once again, in front of you, your host Saurabh Parikh, driving you through the question and answers for the PMP examination. This time, I brought some communication management related questions. Last time we did the cost management questions. So let's see how challenging questions comes to you. Question 1. A team member has been late to several recent team meetings, and the last two deliverables he submitted were not acceptable. The project manager decides he can no longer wait for the things to improve and must address the issue with the team member. What is the best form of communication for addressing this problem? 4 options as usual. Formal written communication, formal verbal communication, informal written communication, informal verbal communication. My dear friends, you know these are the only 4 different ways of the communications, right? Now, what do you think? I think most of you would have by now thought about the right answer. Come what may, the first preference for a good PMP certified professional is going to be informal verbal communication. Come what may. Look at the context of the question once again. It says that he cannot no longer wait for the things to improve and must address issue with the team member, which means the project manager has not addressed the issue so far with the team member. First instance, always go for informal verbal. Anything can happen over a cup of coffee, right? Informal communication can resolve all the conflicts. If at all the conflict is not still resolved between the two, then the project manager can always go into formal verbal communication and then written communication, right? Second question. Here you go. Communications are often enhanced when the sender dash the receiver. This is like one of the beautiful PMP question which is based on the fill in the blank. So let's see how easy or difficult. 4 options as usual. First option, speaks up to. Second, uses gestures when speaking to, like I am doing. Third, speaks slowly to. And fourth, shows concerns for the perspective of. If I was you, even if I do not know the answer, right, I would just look at the gravity of the statement. One of the statement use heavy words. Not necessarily should be the answer, but logically, let's look at them, right? First option, speaks up to. So let's fill in the blank. Communications are often enhanced when the sender speaks up to the receiver. May not be necessarily, right? Let's park it for a while. I wouldn't say right or wrong. Second, communications are often enhanced when the sender uses gestures when speaking to. Quite possible this is about informal communication or through the body language as well, using the gestures. Maybe a good choice, but I can't be sure unless I try the other 2 options. So let's see the third one. Communications are often enhanced when the sender speaks slowly to. Not at all necessary, because if the receiver is on the other side of the table, over the phone or the call, and there is a description of the call, slowly will not help that, right? So this can be outright out. And the fourth one, communications are often enhanced when sender shows concerns for the perspective of the receiver. I feel this option is the best option. The reason being, it talks about the emotional intelligence of a human being. It talks about understanding the receiver and understanding his perspective. When a sender understands the perspective of the receiver, that means the sender is stepping in receiver's shoes and trying to think through how receiver would be thinking about, right? So amongst the two options, B and D, B says use gestures when speaking to, not a wrong answer, but the D is better than B, showing the perspective of receiver. So I will lock in D for now, right? Hope that was good one. Let's go to the third one. The new project manager has a team including several individuals for whom English is not their first language. He frequently used technical jargon from his former company. I think a lot of us keep doing that. Any which way is coming, we love to be technology buffs, which is unfamiliar to these team members. When discussing work activities with his team members, the most likely result of this communication blocker. The question is straightforward, communication blocker. Let's see the four options. First, the project is delayed. It's asking about the outcome of the blocker. First one is project is delayed. May not be. Let's see the second one. The trust level is enhanced. Definitely not. It's a blocker and this is a positive statement, right? So they negate each other. So remove. Third, conflict occurs. Maybe. Fourth, senior management is displaced. Could be, if this is escalated to the senior management. Now, let's talk about the three options, the A, C and D. The project is delayed. May not be. The project delay and a communication blocker may not have a direct relationship at all. There is no context in the other three lines of the question which has been given here. So I would rather park it off and look at the other options for now, which is the conflict occurs and senior management displaced. How do we eliminate this? You figure out. A blocker synonym is a conflict, right? If I have to, even if I do not want to go with C, but looking at D, I don't have a choice, but I would probably compare with C and go for C. Now see the logical answer here. Now when a communication blocker perspective of this particular question, this occurs, right? Between the two team members, between a team member and a project manager, whether it's the relational statement, absolute statement, or it's related to the technical jargons, right? Whenever a communication block happens, a bit of a conflict or a disagreement could occur for sure. Now, it's depending on the context of the scenario, that disagreement, of course, this can be solvable, right? So, between C and D, I think C is having a better weight, no doubt about it. D can happen, but after escalation. If the conflict is not resolved, of course, it will be escalated to senior management, right? So I'll go to lock in for C right now. Hope you're going good. So far, you're with me, and be with me. I'm coming with another challenge for you, the question 4. Again, communication related question on a formal, written, formal, verbal kind of scenario. Formal written correspondence with customer is required when? Believe me, my dear friends, you have studied this. All the 12 knowledge areas of formal written communication is the most paramount in the procurement knowledge area, right? You and I know this. Even if I don't look at the options right now, I'm not even looking at the options right now. I just base up my mind, my thoughts, and my all mental faculties towards that area and then validate my options here. Let's see the options now. Defects are detected. Customer request additional work not covered under the contract. The project has a schedule slippage that include changes to the critical path. The project has cost overruns. What's the question all about? The question is all about formal written communication, right? And the most direct reference here is the second question, where it says the customer requests additional work not covered under contract. Contracts are part of procurement management. You know that very well, right? Whenever there is a contract, there has to be a formality between a buyer and a seller, who are the two entities in the procurement. So even if A, C, and D are relatively right, the most important objective is met over here in B here. So I would directly lock without even thinking about ACD right now. It's easy for us, right? Let's go to the next one. So the right answer for the fourth one here is answer B. Go to the next one. Fifth one. What is the most important factor in choosing how to communicate project progress to the business stakeholders? Could be easy one. Let's see. Option A. Whether the approach is predictive, change-driven, or hybrid. How much information the stakeholder expect you to provide? Option B. Option C. What reporting methods the team has used before and are familiar with. And option D. How much time you are able to allocate to the reporting tasks. Let's go for all the options again. First option. Whether the approach is predictive, change-driven, or hybrid. Question is all about important factor, not just important factor. Read again. Most important factor to how to communicate the project progress to the business stakeholders, right? So the option A could be possible, may not be possible. I would park it for a while. I would not let it go. Second, how much information stakeholder expect you to provide? A very good option. I'll come back to it after looking at C and D. Again, park it off. What reporting methods the team has used before and is familiar with? Not directly relevant to this at all, right? So I would let it go. How much time you are able to allocate to the reporting task? Nothing to do with respect to the time. The question is, what's most important factor in choosing how to communicate the project? How to communicate the project progress? Now let's look at option A and B, having eliminated option C and D. Whether the approach is predictive, change-driven, or hybrid. You know what? It doesn't matter, irrespective of, it doesn't matter which approach you use. How to choose to communicate. You have to communicate in any which ways, in either of the three, or in any of the three. So let's look at the B one. How much information stakeholder expect you to provide? This directly jumps on a factor called CRA, Communication Requirement Analysis of the Stakeholders. This communication done by the sender would be based upon the requirements of the stakeholders, and the analyzing the requirements of the stakeholder is the most important thing for a project manager here. So I would not go with either A, C, or D. I would lock in here the B one. It directly gives you a definition of some kind of a communication mechanism, methodology. The most important factor to communicate, right, is the CRA, Communication Requirement Analysis here. I hope you're going. Let's go to the sixth one. And it's here. A large one-year telecommunication project is about halfway done when you take the place of the previous project manager. See the challenge. I'm sure you have been also into this situation just like me. Halfway, 3/4 way, 1/4 way, you have been just asked to jump in the fire, right? So let's see how the fire get ignited further. The project involved 3 different sellers and a project team of 30 people. Not small though. You would like to see the project communication requirements and what technology being used to aid in a project communication. A good project manager you are. Where will you find this information? Isn't that easy one for you, right? See the options. 1, stakeholder management plan. Some of you might think stakeholder management plan, yeah, related to communication requirement related to stakeholders. Could be possible. Hang on guys, hang on. Quite possible. but not until you have seen the other options. Second, information distribution plan. Have you ever seen this kind of a word in a PMP? In your preparation? It's not there at all. You will not find this in Tamil Kai for sure. So let it go. Third, bar chart. Absolutely nothing related to the bar chart, right? It's nothing but your project schedule progress in Gantt chart. Out. D, communication management plan. Quite possible. So now there are two contenders. We have stakeholder management plan and second, communication management plan. If you are not aware, a hidden truth here. How many of you have actually heard about stakeholder engagement plan but not management plan recently? Think through it. It's actually speaking stakeholder engagement management plan. In the earlier days, of course, there was stakeholder management plan. Let's forget about English for now. Let's think about logical. What is right? Stakeholder management plan or communication management plan? The absolute right answer here is communication management plan. Stakeholder management plan talks about the needs, the interest, the power, the politics of the stakeholder along with the other stakeholders' information. However, communication requirement analysis, who communicate with whom, how is the communication done, why is the communication done with stakeholders is captured in communication management plan. So looking at a question's context where it's asking about you would like to see communication requirements and technology being used, this may not be covered in stakeholder management plan. Unless in practice you mix up both of them, stakeholder and communications. That's a different thing. But from the framework perspective, right, the most certain answer here is the communication management plan as per the definition. Hope that was good one for you. Let's see the next one. We go to 7th question. This is something on changes, part of change management. Let's see this. Change to some project deliverables have been documented in the project management plan. These changes, along with the other project information, have been distributed according to communication management plan. Very good. One stakeholder expressed surprise to project manager upon hearing a documented change to the project deliverable. And I'm damn sure about this that you would have gone through this kind of situation where one stakeholder or two stakeholders would be surprised. Oh, we haven't received this. That's surprise to you. Probably at times that may not be surprising if you are seasoned professional. So let's see the question now. All stakeholders received the communication. Understand, all the stakeholders received the communication providing notification of this change. What should be the project? What should the project manager do? 4 options. First, determine why the stakeholder did not receive the information and let him know when it was published. Hang on guys, look at this. There is a clear statement that entire communication has been done properly well. So it's not the case of stakeholder not receiving the information. It's gone to the state. So this option is out. Let's eliminate it. Second, ask the functional manager why stakeholder did not understand his responsibility. Something you're trying to attack directly on stakeholder. Look at this is a negative context. This is a negative connotation. I would never, ever, irrespective of the question, I would never select this kind of an option. It's attacking the stakeholder. None of the knowledge areas and our methodologies, processes allow you this kind of a negative connotations, right? So we eliminate this. Let's see the third option. Review the communication management plan and make revision if necessary. Quite possible. Let's see. Let's try to park this. This is a good option, I would say. Let's see the fourth one. Address the situation in the next steering committee meeting so others do not miss published changes. The moment you see the first line of this, next steering committee, hey, I'm not going to wait till next year. Next steering committee meeting can happen monthly or quarterly. I'm not going to wait for this. Out. So option D out, option A out. So between option B also was out because it's attacking. So then you have three elimination here. How easy it is, right? Even if you cannot directly choose option C, it's easy to eliminate A, B and D, right? So now let's see why option C is right. Review the communication management plan and make revisions. Absolutely. Just like any project management plan, the subsidiary plans of the project management plan are amenable to changes. We keep it adaptable and adoptable as well. If there are any changes that we need to make, your schedule management, cost management, risk management, communication and stakeholder management plans need to be changed, right? So if there are any changes, for example, if the functional manager is not part of this particular plan, and if you think that a functional manager is required, it's been missed out, stakeholder is been missed out, review it. There is no harm in adding that stakeholder related communication in the plan. Straightforward answer, but with a logic, of course. So we go with the answer C. How are you doing, guys? Hope you are doing, who are with me still, with Saurabh. And I'm going to go to the next question, slowly, steadily, challenging you further. The 8th question coming up here. Be ready for the challenge. Two people are arguing about what need to be done to complete a work package. In addition to the words being spoken, if a project manager wants to know what is going on, she should pay the most attention to. See the keyword here. You remember, right? We need to capture the keywords in the statement. Perfect. So, most attention to. Option 1. What is being said and when? Good option. Park it off for a while. What is being said, who's saying it, and time of the day. Time of the day? Nothing probably not getting gel with this option at all, right? Out. Even if it says what's being said, who's saying it, okay, fair enough. Time of the day, keep it out. See, physical mannerism and when during the schedule this discussion is taking place. Does it matter? When during the schedule is just like time of the day, right? The previous option. Doesn't matter. Physical mannerism, definitely yes. Absolutely important. But the second part of that, when during the schedule, nothing related to it. So out. B and C gone. D. The pitch and tone of their voice along with their gestures. Quite interesting one, right? And you know, guys, this is the D option is all about informal communication, and this is also called as non-verbal communication. Now let's compare the two options. First is what is being said and when. In my career, guys, I learned one thing, I'm sure you also, it's not what is being said that's important, it's how it is being said that's important, right? So I would, even if A is right, I think D is much better than A because it takes you to the world of non-verbal communication. And you know what? Option D take you to a part of non-verbal communication called paralingual communication. Whenever you talk about a pitch and tone, you'll realize my pitch and tone go up, down to keep you interested. This is called a paralingual communication. You would have studied this in your PMP exam prep, I'm sure. If you have not, please go back. Pitch and tone is so crucial. It's not what being said, it's how being said, right? So it's more than the body language, which is a part of non-verbal. So two parts of non-verbal. One is the body language, Second, which is nothing but a gestures. Second is a pitch and tone, which is more important than the body language. So lock in the option D, go with option D, right? I hope that was simple one, a simple challenge to reckon with. Let's go to the ninth question. What's the best way for your agile team to share their progress with other project stakeholders? Should be easy, right? What do you think? Without even looking at the options. Status report, monthly dashboard, nothing related to. It's a question related to agile team. Nothing related to that, right? Obvious answer. Even if I don't look at the options here, what you studied in your PMP exam prep, information radiator, isn't it? We all studied that, you and I. Nothing but a beautiful display so-called a dashboard of the entire information, right? Now let's see the options. Oh, look at that. First option itself, information radiator. I would not be surprised. Second, memos, written memos, or even type memo. Memos and agile, opposite. Completely out, eliminate. Don't spend too much of your time. This kind of a question can be easily answered in 10 seconds. Save time for difficult questions in future. 3. Stand-up meetings. Good one, no doubt about it. We demonstrate the progress, but there is one caveat here, guys, in stand-up meetings. You know what? Stand-up meeting happen with internal team members, you and I. What about external stakeholders? Information radiator go beyond internal team to the external stakeholders as well. When you have a dashboard displayed, let's say for example in a beautiful glass wall of your organization which is completely painted through a digital display. See how is it? That's the information radiator, isn't it? We've gone through it. And I'm sure many of you would have been there in your practice in your company as well. 4th talks about retrospective. Again, retrospective is nothing but improvement of the internal processes, internal workarounds of the team, and it's not showing the project status update it doesn't show the progress at all. So this is out as well. So the most clear and concise answer here is A, information radiator. I'm trying to explain you guys a little bit more, contextually detailed one, because I thought even if this simple one, probably from my experience, I can narrate this well, and I'm sure you also have been experienced around, so you can connect back to me to what I said as well. Okay, so let's go to the next one, and the 10th one coming up over here. A team member is visiting the manufacturing plant of one of the suppliers. Could be for audit, could be for inspection, anything. Which of the following is most important thing? I have captured a keyword here. Most important. Keyword is the most important. To be done in any telecall, the project manager might make to the team member. So it's a telephone call you are making to your team member, and the question asks, what's most important thing to be done? 4 things. 1. Ask the team member to repeat back what the project manager says. Not a bad option. I will not eliminate. I'll keep it in the side. I'll pack it off. B. Review the list of contact information for all the stakeholders. Required, not required, important, maybe to review before he gets into the manufacturing facility. That's okay. I can't eliminate. Park it off. C. Ask the team member to look for change requests. Hang on. The question says you are having a conversation with your team member. He is visiting a manufacturing plant, and how does the change request? It completely antagonized. So I would probably park it. No, I would not even park it off. I will eliminate that. Nothing related to it. All right. So it's outright out. And option D talks about review the upcoming meeting schedule. Important, yes. Before a manufacturing plant gets entry for this team member, should look at whom he is going to meet. So he can add entry pass, gate pass, etc. He can ask for important one as well. So A, B, D, 3 options in front of you. Let's think about A again. Ask the team member to repeat back what the project manager says. Let's look at C1. Ask the team member to look for change requests. So we say C is out anyway. Let's look at a B1. Review the list of contact information for all stakeholders. And D1 was review the upcoming meeting schedule. Now if I compare A, B and D, the question asks what the most important thing to be done. Though B and D, yes, they are important, but not the most important. The most important is we live in different cultures. We live in the environment where we may not understand each other's context. Understand this is a manufacturing environment. There might be a lot of noise. So you might need to repeat, which is called paraphrasing. See the word? In the world of communication management, you studied this paraphrasing? Paraphrase. That's exactly the definition of the option A. You are trying to repeat what your project manager say as a team member. So you expect, as a project manager, then you expect your team member to repeat what he said to ensure that understanding has been gone through properly. Because there could be a lot of noise because of the manufacturing machinery in the plant, etc. So even B and D, even though B and D is important, I will not negate it, but A is the most important. That's exactly what's been asked in the question, right? A little bit complex question, right? I hope you're still with me. Go to the 11th question and you go here. Okay. By the way, please be ready mentally to absorb such long questions, right? Questions could be 4-liner, 5-liners. Your mental faculties need to be tuned properly well. So let's see how can you gel well with this question. Challenge is here. Things have been going well on the project. I wish for you. The work authorization system, I'm sure you heard this word. Work authorization system has allowed people to know when to start work, and the issue log has helped keep a track of stakeholders' concerns. You are a great project manager. The sponsor has expressed his appreciation for team members' efforts by hosting milestone party. You would ever wanted to have this situation, don't you? Ever cherish this situation? Project manager gets a call from a team member saying results from the completion of her activities predecessor. Her activities predecessor, that means preceding activity, are 2 days late. That's sad. Which of the following reasons would best describe why this occurred? Interesting question. Let's look at the options. First, the project manager was focusing on sponsors' needs. Possible, may not be possible. Let's park it away. Option B, functional management was not included in the communication management plan. Now see the kind of a statement. The functional management, meaning functional managers maybe, were not included in a com plan. When you say this, and this is a very generic statement, and it's so true, we most often than not, we miss out including the functional managers, because we only worry about our project team, our project stakeholders, which are generally related to the project, may not be functional managers. That means the managers of those team members to whom they report to, right? Like marketing manager, finance manager, HR manager, supply chain manager, etc. They may not be a part of your communication plan, quite possible. So let's park very heavily. Let's not go out of that for now. Let's look at this option C. The successor activity should have been monitored, not the predecessor. Why? Predecessor and successor both important in a project, of course. If you do not look at the predecessors, how would you identify potential delays? Right? Outright out. Eliminate. The right people were not invited to milestone party. Wow, that's an incredible option, isn't it? How do right people, wrong people, milestone party related to what is being asked in the question? Question relate or pertains to the 2 days delay of a predecessor's activity. Nothing related to milestone party, so D is out. So C and D, 2 options out. A and B. The project manager was focusing on sponsors' needs. Sorry about that. Just focusing on sponsor needs? Probably not the complete context, but if I compare this statement with other option, which is B, functional management was not included in comp-plan. This is much better than option A. Project manager was focusing on sponsors' needs. If I just say that, then how does it matter to this question of the delay? The project needs, aren't they the sponsored needs? He may not be doing something wrong, so he's right. It's a very thin line difference between A and B. Unless you say, oh, the B, we have never done it. We have never included in any of the functional manager in comp plan. Then you are wrong, guys. Functional manager are stakeholders, right? Option A and B. B talk about important stakeholders. The A, the project sponsor, is only one of the stakeholders. The B talks about the functional management, meaning multiple functional managers. As I said, marketing manager, finance manager, etc. Right? I would go with option B. Much better than A. You might get this kind of questions where 2 questions are very related, and if you only think about focusing on the project sponsor's need and looking at a project, you might be missing out on other stakeholders. Please do remember. So just be wary about this kind of challenges between the 2 options. This kind of questions might take you about 30 seconds to answer, right? So use your time wisely. I hope you're still with me, and we go with the question 12, and this is the last question in comp plan. Let's talk about it. A project manager has just been assigned a team comprised of team members from many countries. I'm sure you might be a global project manager working with a global team, and including Brazil, Japan, US, and Britain. What is the best tool for success? Okay, interesting question. It's asking what is her best tool for the success. Could be many, right? So we'll have to look at the options. The first one, it says RAM. You have studied RAM. Responsibility assignment matrix, right? Could be answer. So let's go look at the second one. Teleconference. Could be answer. Let's do park it way. Third one. Team communication with WBS. Is it a tool for success? Team communication with WBS. 2 separate words. I do not think they do gel well. What WBS talks about work breakdown structure. The team communication gels well with the question context. So this option is outright out, I would say. Well developed interpersonal skills. Yes. Could be option, 100%. Because that's where the project manager display her soft skill abilities to communicate with the stakeholders. This time it's team members. So let's look at the question once again and come back to the options quickly. A project manager has just been assigned a team comprised of team members from many different countries. What is her best tool for success? Responsibility assignment matrix. It's not the right option or a right tool, though you would have parked. Why? Responsibility assignment matrix so-called RACI matrix or a RACI chart talks about roles and responsibilities and not really anything related to the cultural context or a sensitivity or a communication, right? It's not about that. It's a clear roles and responsibility. For example, the role of a business analyst and responsibility to ensure the stakeholder requirements are gathered, elicited, and given back to the project team. Role, responsibility. I hope you reckon it out. How swiftly you made this. Good job, guys. Teleconference. Okay, not too bad. We all do teleconference, no doubt about it. Good option. Team communication is already out. So well-developed interpersonal skills. Okay. Don't you think your B should be part of D? No. It's very simple and quite interesting and understandable that your telecommunication would be part of your bigger soft skills, right? So the right context and the right answer, both matching here, option D. Right kind of interpersonal skills would help you understand different cultural sensitivities, different cultural context, different people, their language barriers, their cultural barriers, their communication barriers. And as long as you understand the other cultures' sensitivity, I think you are still in the game here. If there's a right tool, the most effective tool, which is nothing but your interpersonal skills, which would consist of everything and anything when you do a project cross-country. I hope this helped you on the communication. A quick 12 questions on the communications. At times the communication questions could be difficult. They might challenge you, but I'm sure you're up for this challenge because you have been greatly getting in your PMP examination preparation. So wish you good luck. I'll see you next time with some more round of questions. Till then, bye from Saurabh.